Just want to add a couple things. Number one, what you just saw, where we're at right now, we are actually under budget of the $10.2 million that we have discussed. And I'm committed to making sure it stays that way. So, and with that, I think that is my report. I will let John give his financial report at this point.
Are we going to open the RFQs at this time?
Whatever the pleasure.
Well, we're discussing it.
We don't have to. I just thought that was.
That's fine. That's fine.
Let's go ahead and open them up.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We discussed it.
Get it done.
Who's the first one on the list?
Mention the name. Culpepper, I'll open to verify that that is the name on their proposal. Culpepper.
Tallahassee.
Yep, Tallahassee, Florida. That's the address. That's fine. Next is Childers Construction. And I'm not sure if they have an address here, Commissioner. I'll have to drill down forward some more to get it for you.
Tallahassee.
They are Tallahassee? Okay. The next is Ajax Construction. And is it safe to say Tallahassee? They have a Tallahassee office too. This is one of the ones you meant, Doster, is that pronounced correctly? They are,
I believe it's Birmingham.
Birmingham, Alabama, correct. And the final is Robbins and Morton. They also have, they have Orlando, Florida as their address in the lead page. And that's it.
Commissioners, I apologize. Two more items on this topic. Number one, what we will do is we will take those back and basically we're creating a scorecard, a weighted scorecard to evaluate each of those. And we will be putting together a panel of our architect, Adams, myself, probably one of the hospital board members, and with your blessing, I would like to ask that Michael be a part of that group as well, simply because he has more opportunity to speak with each of you and keep you involved in the loop as we go through this process. I don't expect that it will, as a matter of fact, we'd like to turn this part of the process around in less than a month and be back here with our full evaluation of those 5 proposals and make a recommendation to you as to which one that you negotiate with. That's the next step, is to, once we pick the top one based solely on qualifications, we then go to them and negotiate a price that they're going to stand by. So that's my recommendation, is that Michael's a part of that group.
I make a motion that we turn it over to the committee, the hospital, and add Michael. I will turn it to
I think Michael Marone.
Michael Marone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Michael Marone.
Too many Michaels in the room.
I have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Discussion, please, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Would you repeat who is going to compose this
Would be
committee?
our architect, probably two out of their office.
Okay, so that's 2 people.
And then Nick's group, and we'll probably have at least 2 out of his office, myself, and then probably a hospital board member.
So that's 5, and then you add Michael, that'd be 6 members of this committee that's going to review this
Yeah.
stuff? Okay, I'm just trying to clarify that for the public.
And I think, we have these architects, we pay them, we have Adams Group, and we pay them, and they bring a lot of expertise, and so obviously their input is going to be greatly weighted, but I think it's good for us to have a county representative, a board representative, and administrative representative. But our plan is to have this be a very objective criteria, not a whole lot of opinions in it. So
That was my only question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have a motion second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Commissioners,
Yes, sir.
we're doing this a little bit too quickly. I'm concerned about having multiple members within the same organization because this is going to be a sunshine law group, and once y'all were appointed, they're not able to talk among themselves outside of that public setting to make the evaluation. So let's leave that in place, but if I need to come back to the board, I'll come back to the board and make a change and make a recommendation that y'all change that membership. But it's just a concern I've got right now.
Yeah.
But it may be okay, but I'm a little concerned about it. We'll talk further, Mike.
Okay.
I amend my motion to what lawyer said.
Did you want us to amend it, or?
No, I'd say just leave it as
I
it is.
thought you said leave it as is.
What I need to look at, and what I'm not certain of as we sit here this morning, is whether or not you can have two members of the same consulting group on the committee or not. I mean, worst case scenario, you might have to come back and drop off one from each is what I'm thinking. But
Okay.
just want to bring that to the board's attention.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
That was for the architect and the Adams Group. They were the ones that he said might have multiple members.
Yes, sir, that would be
Okay.
correct. So I guess if you wanted to amend the motion so that you could drop off one of those members from each group if you needed to, so you don't have to come back at the next meeting.
I think we just need to give direction to them for that, so they don't, they avoid it
Right.
and will not be no possible violation of the sunshine law.
Right. Well, maybe
That'll bring the membership down to 4 members instead of 6-member group. Looking at that, are you satisfied with that, Mr.
Yes,
Cooper?
I think this is going to be very objective. It's not going to be where we're needing a lot of different people. We're going to look at their qualifications and give them a score based on those qualifications. So,
Well, with the board's permission, just so that you know, if I look at this and find that one member out of each of those two organizations needs to drop off, I'll have them drop off.
Yeah.
So you only have one representative from one organization, the architect and the consulting firm Adams.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. John.
Morning, Commissioners.
morning.
I've got October and November for you this morning, and I've laid it out a little bit different in an effort to be brief. I know you've had a long morning. First of all, we've got notes to financial statements, and I've got a comparative balance sheet, and I've put the comparative balance sheet on there because it shows us how things are happening over a trend, a time. I've got November 2014's audited balance sheet, 2015's as the end of September, and our current one as of November, the end of this report. And over those 2 years plus, I want to point out that the fund balance, which is a measure of our net worth, has slightly increased over those 24 months. Current ratio, current assets to current liabilities is still 2 to 1. Days cash on hand, I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, and it's 7.5 days here roughly. And I want to just touch base on what Mike, numbers he threw out with the cost report. And very basically and very simply, the cost report is a settlement document. We unfortunately have to spend the money first, and then Medicare settles up with us. So that's why the nature of the critical access hospital is what it is. So that's why we're looking forward to filing and getting reimbursement from the cost report to take care of a lot of our cash and accounts payable issues. What I've done also at the bottom of the notes, I've summarized under the heading income statement the profit and loss of each facility through these 2 months. You can see there for the month of November, for example, EMS had a profit of $22,000. The clinic's losses were $100,000. The hospital by itself profited $69,000 for a grand total of about a $9,000 loss for the month of November. And putting the 2 months together, $53,000 in the red, but again, we're being very conservative with our estimates of what's collectible or not collectible. We do track all of our receipts by payer, month to month to month, so it's fairly scientifically based, the estimates I make on the accounting documents and the income statements. You've had a long session this morning, a lot of good things happening. We're finally getting to the point where I think we're going to have a consistency with our IT system. We have a consistency in the revenue cycle, and so we're just looking forward to things improving. You've seen one of the major things we're holding our hat on is Dr. Stoll's being introduced here today. It's good to have her in the community, and we hope to go forward from here. That's basically my report this morning. I'd be happy to address any questions if you have any.
Have any questions for him, Mr. John?
I'd like to make a comment. I think it was an excellent report, Mr. Cooper. And I noticed that there's several of the members of the Williams board here. And I know the time that it takes to be a member of a board like that and the work that you put into it. And I want to thank you for what you've done.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. John. Marcia Johnson, she's not here. Marcia's not here. Alan's report, you gonna take it, Michael?
I sure will. Alan is attending a training sponsored by the U.S. Treasury today and tomorrow. It's in Defuniak Springs, and there are 7 other counties there. That's where he's at. In his report, item 2, Alan attended a second meeting of the 8 counties' economic development offices on January 11th. That was in Niceville. The meeting was sponsored by Florida's Great Northwest, referred to as FGN, and they've been asked by the Triumph Board to describe what economic transformational change would be like. The second meeting was a series of presentations by economic entities servicing the 8 counties. Presenters included Enterprise Florida, Department of Economic Opportunity, Spaceport Florida, and various other regional economic agencies. Alan, obviously representing Franklin County, and Cherie Keeler, representing Wakulla County, both want Chris Holly, who represents Gulf County, to be part of the presentation in front of the Triumph Board. The economic development officers from the counties will get together and make a recommendation on the format of the presentation. At this time, the presentation to Triumph will not occur until March, and it is possible that it will be delayed. The absolute earliest that the Triumph Board will even know if funding is available will be in July of 2016. And it is much more likely that funding will not be released until sometime in 2017. There will be another meeting in Niceville on February 18th, at which time each county will make a brief presentation. Each county is requested to describe the current status of their local economy, and then what the county wants is local economy to look like in 10 years. Alan knows the current condition of the local economy, but any guidance on what the board hopes the local economy would look like in 10 years would be appreciated. Time to pull out a crystal ball. And I guess by the time he gets back, he'll have more information and he can discuss that in more detail with you all. His final item in his report, board direction to set up a workshop with Dewberry in the afternoon of February 16th to begin the needs assessment for the use of the county's restore funds. The purpose of the workshop will be for the commissioners to talk directly to Dewberry for an hour or so on what the local needs are, and for Dewberry to begin to talk about how to match restore funds with other programs to meet those needs. This workshop is only the beginning, but it is an important step. The board has a meeting in that morning, so does the board want to start the workshop at 1 or 1:30 p.m. that afternoon? I'll tell you guys, from past experience, 1:30 is always better because at 1, something always happens and we run late with lunch. So, but it's up to the board.
1:30.
1:30 is fine? Okay, motion not needed for that. It is needed?
So moved.
Second. Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And if you have any questions here, Stella's here from Dewberry to answer any questions you have on Alan's report today.
That's 1:30
On February 16th.
February 16th.
Yeah. So we're good? No questions for Dewberry today? No? All right, Stella, thank you. All right, so can I move ahead just to my report, or you guys want a break, or? Go ahead. All right. Item 1. Inform the board that Attorney Schuler, Attorney Robert Dees, and I participated in a settlement hearing regarding the Orion Marine lawsuit on January 13th in Tallahassee. At various times during the hearing, we spoke to Mr. Pierce regarding the proposals and counter-proposals. I'm pleased to announce that Attorney Schuler, Mr. Pierce, and I recommend to the board a proposed settlement agreement. In the settlement, Orion Marine will pay the county $575,000 within 20 days of the board accepting the agreement. The board has expended some $654,000 out of the bridge fund to pay for the damages to the St. George Island fishing pier. And then there was some $103,000 in additional cost to the county in preparing for litigation. This settlement offer pays the county back 72% of the total funds expended. While it is possible we could have gotten 100% of our damages if we had gone to trial, it is also possible we would have gotten less and certainly had more expenses. It is our recommendation that $500,000 go back into the bridge fund and the $75,000 be put back into general fund, which is essentially a prorated reimbursement between the bridge fund and general revenue. There is currently $999,370.33 in the bridge fund. If the board puts back $500,000, then the bridge fund will have approximately $1.5 million. The original allocation from FDOT was $1.52 million, so the fund would almost be fully restored. The fund does generate interest every year, and that money stays in the fund. Board action to accept the settlement and to disperse the money as recommended.
Mr. Chairman, discussion. As the board is aware, I don't know about Commissioner Watson, but the rest of us are aware that, as the attorney has told us, you know, this paying for this bridge to be rebuilt has cost us a lot of money, and I had big concerns about taking that out of the bridge fund because that is set aside to demolish the bridge at some point when it needs it. But having said that, you know, under the maritime law, as explained to us, that, you know, they could just be liable for the expense of the cost of the barges, which was substantially less than what the proposed settlement is. So I think we've done, the attorney and the staff has done pretty well to get us almost make us whole as compared to what it actually could be if they were found, if the settlement was determined under the maritime law as it currently stands. So with that, I'd make a motion that we accept the settlement and disperse the money as recommended.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. Accept. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much, Commissioners. That was a long day, let me tell you. Item 2, inform the board that due to lack of quorum, there was no planning and zoning meeting this month. The 2 newest appointments inform Ms. Amy Ham Kelly that due to unforeseen scheduling issues, they are unable to serve on the planning and zoning board at this time. I recommend that the board appoint members to fill the 2 seats, the seafood dealer seat and the realtor seat, as soon as possible so that we can have a quorum at next month's meeting.
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to check with the Real Estate Association to make a recommendation for the board, for the realtors?
No, we do it by the thing. What we do is we do it to where somebody, we like to take that specific thing and it's being a district that's not represented on there. You see what I'm saying? Like the 5 districts, we always like somebody, like realtors, if you don't have no representative on there from St. George Island, then
Sure.
you know, you do it. You do it. And then if I had a vacancy and it had to be a realtor, then I'd be doing it.
I got you, okay.
Yeah.
So it's by district and
Is it
a realtor.
the people from his district, District 1?
They were from my district.
Or from your district?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of up in the air when we made these appointments because they really didn't commit to us 100% that they were willing to serve. They were willing to try to serve. Both of them had issues with trying to make the time available to be able to contribute and serve Franklin County. So, you know, I don't know how the board wants to handle it. I mean, we made appointments and it didn't work out. So.
But it's still from your area.
It is, and I'll continue to try, but I mean, we need to do this because, you know, Alan proposed revamping the whole planning and zoning board, and I didn't really like that. I stated that early on when Alan came up with trying to revamp that board, you know, and we need representatives from our seafood industry, from our tourism industry, and from environmental prospects, and our forestry, and that's the way it's always been. I served many years on the planning and zoning board before I was elected to this commission.
Me too.
Commissioner Sanders did also, and it's a learning experience, but you really have to have genuine interest in your community to take the time out and to make the tough choices and make the tough choices and recommend back to this board as to where the county should go. They're not a final say-so. They are a volunteer board, but it takes a lot of time to learn all the codes of this county and to read the comprehensive plan and to learn how your land development code works with your comp plan it's not an easy job. It's not something you just sit up there and do if you want to really put your heart and soul into it, which you should, out of concern for your community. So it takes a lot of time, and I'd like to keep the board like it is. I'll have to try to look in, and if any other commissioners have someone that you know they would could get with the attorney or Michael or some of the county staff that they would like to recommend so that we can get these seats filled, I'm fine with that. You know, we do, as Commissioner Sanders said, we do try to make sure that the Planning and Zoning Board is made up from members from one end of the county to the other, so that we have diversity that we can take into consideration of what's happening on this end of the county and just bring the whole county together to form this board is basically what we're trying to do. So with that, I'll go back to the drawing board and see if we can't come up with some more appointments.
And that's the main thing. We want to make sure that this is inclusive of all the people in the county.
Absolutely.
And everything. And that's the reason why it's important for you to have that appointment, Smokey, because I want to make sure that we've got enough people in there from all over the county and that we're all well represented.
It's a hard job. I mean, it is a hard job.
Very
Controversial issues come before them. It really takes someone that's going to make the commitment to do it. And we've got some good people on this.
Like myself and like Commissioner Parrish said, you know, when I came on there, we were just starting the boom. And then when Smokey came on there, or Commissioner Parrish came on there, they were in the boom.
Yes.
And it is hard. I mean, hard. Because it's one of those volunteer committees that you don't get any love from. I can tell you. We did not feel the love while we were there, did we, Smokey? But then it taught you a lot of things. It taught you about how, like Commissioner Parrish said, how the comp plan and the codes and all that goes together. And you got to be a rocket scientist just about to figure that thing out. But it's very imperative that we have people that represent all areas of the county to make sure that we have the special needs and stuff represented. But if you, I agree with Commissioner Parrish. I think he needs to go back and find somebody else.
All right, Commissioner, so hopefully by next meeting we could have two and we'll appoint them, and then the P&Z is the second Tuesday of every month,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much problem with the member that represents the eastern end of the county. He was on there when I came on there in 1995, 96, somewhere along in there, and he's still sitting there. So he must like it, bless his heart.
Yes, he must.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, ma'am. Item 3, inform the board that Alan asked AVCON to assist him in developing a response to a proposal generated by Enterprise Florida for an aviation-related company looking for space at an airport. Enterprise Florida is a clearinghouse for companies interested in relocating to Florida, and Franklin County participates in Enterprise Florida. Enterprise Florida sends out short notices about the facilities a company is searching for, and then responses go back to Enterprise Florida. The actual company is kept confidential by Enterprise Florida. In this case, the company was looking for a space on the airport where they could build a minimum of 100,000 square foot hangar and generate 85 jobs at an average wage of $46,000 a year. The company manufactures equipment to move airplanes around on the ground. Enterprise Florida represents all of Florida, so the responses back to Enterprise Florida could be statewide. But this is a start of the county's airport getting on the map. In your packet is a copy of the solicitation from Enterprise Florida and the county's response. I spoke to Alan this morning up there. He hasn't heard anything, so we're just guessing that they're still accepting
That would be a good
proposals.
thing, because that would be one of those things that could come into one of those jobs oriented places that could come in there and it wouldn't hurt anything
Yes.
with the bay or anything like that.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Exactly.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And Commissioner, the average salary of $46,000 probably be on-the-job training to some degree, but that's very,
You
very
might
good
get it, Mr.
for this
Noah.
area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be really
I'm
good.
gonna go to work.
And,
we'll
and-
keep- we'll
and
keep you-
real quickly, if I might, Mr. Chairman, you know, this is the type thing that we should be able to access some of the Triumph funds to help move us forward to attract this type of industry in here and having the ability to secure some funds to put the infrastructure in. And this is the type of project that I would like to see presented to the Triumph board on behalf of Franklin County. with our airport, trying to expand and better utilize it, create job creation, and having some of these Triumph funds to be able to help the county move forward with something like this is exactly what I see us utilizing Triumph Fund for. Economic development, create some good paying jobs, and create diversity within our economy.
Yeah, and simply just using some money to market the airport nationwide to companies that might be looking for a spot like
Absolutely,
this.
and when you talk about Alan's report, I refer back to what Alan, I don't know where his report went, but anyways, let's see which one it is here that talks about, the Economic Development Office of the county work together, make a recommendation format, but it also talks about presenting what we want our economy to look like 10 years from now. This is an excellent start, and what I envision us looking at to try to create more diversity with our seafood industry and our tourism, and this one here would actually add additional diversity to our economy. And I would like to see Alan present this as a sample of what we're looking to move forward to on behalf of the citizens of Franklin County, and try to create more diversity within our economy, not do away with our seafood, but add some diversity to that. So if you had another oil spill or what have you, you know, your total economy doesn't collapse because we're more diversified.
I'd like to comment too, Mr. Chairman. One of the things that's going to be important, I think, on the acquisition of these Triumph funds is cooperation between Gulf and Franklin County. And I know that Gulf County has the port, we've got the airport. We don't have a port, they don't have an airport. And I know that they've gotten some money under grants to make improvements to their railroad, which goes along the edge of Franklin County. And there might be an opportunity to build a hookup to that line when it comes through. So I think it's a great opportunity.